Tom, you get on here and you bust my balls a lot for saying, like, I don't know how to do a to-do list. I refuse to write jokes after I have been asked to do them.
You once suggested to me that it's been a while since we did an episode, a deep dive about a specific anime, and you said, let's watch Space Dandy. I said, that sounds like a great idea. I watched Space Dandy at a normal pace that took me about 3 weeks to get through it. And then I waited about 2 more weeks, and I was like, how are you doing with Space Dandy? And you're like, what are you talking about? I've never heard
Some
that
stuff
show.
came up, like my shoulder was bugging me, and that sort of paints me as a sort of a floundering dumbass, but that is not an accurate picture, because of the two of us, I'm actually the only one who knows stuff.
It's true.
I know stuff. Tom purchased a vehicle, and after it, he asked me, other than gas, like, what goes in this thing?
Joe, you heard about this thing called winter? What am I supposed to do about that? It's getting cold out there. Can my car deal?
Yeah, of course, it was very funny to me because you just went like, I'm going to buy a used car. I mean, what does Joe have? That? Okay, I'm getting that. That's fine. You just deferred to me.
I'm like, Joe, the car you have, you like that, right? And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And then later, like 6 months after I got it, I was like, Joe, what is a driver's license? And do I need one of them for the car?
Yeah, you didn't know about city stickers, which are, of course, a scam, but it's a scam that could hurt you harder. Mm-hmm. How many times have I explained like how a mortgage works? Like, I know it's a scam; it's all a big scam.
At least one fewer than you need to. Because every time, I always hear about people saying they made an offer, and I'm like, why? Like, where do offers come into this? Do you not simply pay the price on the tag?
Yeah, you go up to the door; it has the sticker on it, and you take out your checkbook, and then you hand it. And then they take the sign down.
Yeah, and then it's your house.
And then they hand you the keys.
Yeah, that's how it works when I buy my chips at the grocery store.
The whole process, of course, is convoluted and stupid for many reasons. But the thing about Tom that is really wonderful is if he doesn't want to think about it at that moment, information is no use to you. Like, if I'm explaining... I literally explained... an emulation feature to you, and you came to me being like, Russ, on retro games, check out what he said. And I said, Tom, this is exactly what I just told you. Like, I told you about these filters, and the thing you said is, but who are you? You're nobody. This is Russ. This is Russ.
It's true, dude. I think that's the thing that's the superpower that allows me to become an incredible genius. Is that just when there's information I find distasteful, who gives a fuck?
Yeah. The thing is, all of life is distasteful information, so I have like a very good skill at like taking it in, and then I assumed you did too, but you were just kind of looking at your shoes the whole time.
Like, if I ever need to find out, like, how do I make someone my primary care physician, I'll just, like, ask you. I'm certainly not going to learn it at fucking job.
No.
Yeah, I mean, looking at my shoes, learning nothing. That's really the way to be, and it's kept me pristine. And, we often say that the unique alchemy between the two of us allows us to reach power levels higher than either of us could ever hope to achieve alone. And part of the reason that works is that you are sort of my life skill Wikipedia guy. It's always going to be there for me.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So are taxes every year? Hello, everybody, and welcome to Anime Sickos. It's the podcast for geniuses and the only podcast. On Anime Sickos, what do we do? Well, we look at the 4 pillars of modern misery: anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. I am Tom, in Anime Sicko.
I'm Joe, an Anime Sicko.
So you may remember 2 episodes ago, we talked about the Chinese Gameboys we got, the Anbernickos.
These things are still good. We still feel fondly about these devices.
Yeah, it's just like every day, just more and more crime oozes out of this thing.
Can I just be honest with you for a little bit? These past 3 years have been pretty hard. Well, with the pandemic, my living situation in Hell Tower, obviously going through depression and then some other undiagnosed mental stuff that came through.
And also some physical stuff. You had a hernia that wasn't correctly diagnosed for like half a year that really fucked you up.
Yeah, no one believed me. I was like, there's some guts are looped in here, and everyone was like, nah. So it's been a really rough pandemic, as stupid as that sounds. But all of this is to say, if I had this Chinese Game Boy at the start, I would have been fine. There would have been no mental issues. I would have not had depression, no weight loss. It would have been fine. I'd probably be buff.
Yeah. This would make you the buff sicko. This would be an anime jock. To that end, I think it's time that we introduce a new recurring segment. It's been a while since we've come up with a new recurring segment. We've kind of been relying on our old standbys, but now we got a new one. It's an original one. I'm going to call it Anbernickos, or the Anbernick check-in. How's our gaming experiences doing? And we're more likely to have gaming experiences because unlike before where we just had our fucking PCs and we'd play a PC game every once in a while, with these motherfuckers, we can just like jam 7 minutes of random fucking gameplay into any moment of our day.
And a separate device that only exists for that. I'm not talking about switching tabs. I'm talking about like picking up this Game Boy. So here's what I've been revisiting. I am gonna go through Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. I had a lot of both growing up. Revisiting some of them. One thing I had never played or beat. I had like the NES version of Dragon Warrior, which is the violent name of Dragon Quest.
Yeah, I gotta say as a translation of Dragon Quest, that title is like extremely perverse and misses the point about as much as possible. Dragon Quest is about a funny little blue smiling dude that Toriyama drew for a joke
that you have to kill again and again and again and again and again.
Yeah, but that's not a war. There's no war in Dragon Quest. There's a quest. Come on.
Yeah. So I'm playing through the Game Boy Color remake of that. There was a cartridge that had Dragon Warrior 1 and 2 on that. I never played 2, but I'm revisiting 1 because like I get like flashbacks of certain parts, like as my memories, like, oh, I remember this from the NES game. The one thing that does suck is they changed the spell names to be more like, I don't know, like good, like less shitty. But the original offensive spell in the NES one was called Hurt. And then the improved version was called Hurt More.
No, holy shit, how? No way.
Yeah. And now it's Fireball, and I assume like whatever. I haven't got that far, but it sucks. I miss it. Bring back Hurt More.
Fuck. When did they change to like crack and crackle and like boom and boomel, where they used the funny suffixes?
That is the most frustrating. I thought that the Shin Megami ones are bad, where you have to know Zio and Garu and all that shit.
Oh, but God, fuck that.
No, it's at least those have certain sounds you can sort of map to like elements. The fucking comic book sound stuff is so stupid. Also, bang is its own element, Tom.
Oh God, really?
Yeah,
I thought it was element-free damage.
Or maybe that's what it is. But the point is, it's stupid. Anyway, I've been playing that. I've been playing...
Before we move on, just real quick, I'm wondering, how did the NES display hurt more? Because my understanding with old NES era RPGs is that like anytime there was a word, they had to fucking massively abbreviate it such that there was no way for you to know what it was. And a quick example is I tried to play Phantasy Star 2, a Genesis RPG, and one of your starting characters has a spell which is only called Res, R-E-S. What does that mean? Who could know? It could be Restore, it could be Resurrect, it could be Resist. No way to know.
Mm-hmm.
So how did we have 9 characters? There's a space in the middle. 9 characters to write out Hurt More.
Oh, that's where you're fucking stupid. There was no space. It was Hurt More one thing.
That sounds like a guy's name. That's like Lieutenant Crashmore's friend.
That sketch has grown on me. Because not the part where he's like disgusting about his rate, but just like the stupid lazy shit he says in the like, fuck, I hope I don't die. I don't give a shit. Just like the really lazy.
You say things have sucked lately so fucking much these days.
It's so funny. The rookie saying, I hope we don't die. And his response is, I don't care. Things have sucked lately. So good.
So what else besides Dragon Warrior?
Super Mario 2 for the Game Boy, like Legend of the 8 fucking coins. It's where Wario shows up.
This is where Wario is like a weird freak who has like bug eyes because they didn't know how to design him yet.
Yeah. This one I played a lot growing up because I think you can like get all of the like worlds beat, and then something can happen where they reset. Like you can fuck apart enough, and I remember that happening because I was bad. That's fun. Playing that is fun. Seeing a platformer. And like, how do you make this fun when there's like no screen? Like, how can you make this enticing and a precise platformer that's challenging? When again, like the Game Boy resolution and screen size, there's not a lot of shit you can do.
Yeah, like if you have a character on screen that's going to take up like 25% of the pixels, just like automatically.
Right, and that's why it's fun to see platformers do this. All the RPG sprites on Game Boy look the fucking same. What about you? I heard you've been using your device to make Goldfinger come out of the little speaker because you've been playing Tony Hawk.
Yeah, so I downloaded Tony Hawk Pro Skater on the Dreamcast because I was like, I looked up best version and that's what it said. Well, it turns out the Anbernick struggles with Dreamcast games. Some Dreamcast games work. Crazy Taxi works. The audio is a little crackly, but like the gameplay is fine.
Crazy Taxi legit had 2 songs.
Yeah.
It was that Offspring and I think a Bad Religion song forever.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. And a guy saying, let's make some crazy money. So I was like, okay, that doesn't work. Maybe the PlayStation version of Tony Hawk is going to run. And I've been so taken with the fact that it runs perfectly that I've been playing the shit out of it. So here's the thing. I never owned it. I played it at my friend's house on the N64 version a lot. Maybe I was like a savant as a child because I didn't like practice. I didn't put in the hours because again I would only play it when I came over to
this is such a
house.
Weird brag.
Because now that game's so fucking hard. Like I suck ass at it.
Did you play 2 or 1? Because I the fact that 2 starts the manual system where you kind of do your little wheelie between tricks and that changes everything. And I found going back to a manualist society is like making it very difficult.
Yeah, I think it must have been 2 because I was rocking back and forth up and down on the fucking D-pad, being like, why aren't I manualing?
Yeah, doing crazy like paths is a lot harder in the first one because you have to like follow contours more. Where in the second one, if you can manual between everything, you can get nutty with it.
And like you can't like get on a half pipe. That's where you get your big tricks. So you can get big air, and you can do a bunch of tricks in one thing, in one jump, and also spin a lot and then land safely. Like when you're on a half pipe, you can do that, but you're also sort of giving up grinding because you can't like land into a grind unless you like go off of the half pipe like towards a rail, and that's a huge gamble. You might fall in a way that is comically fatal, and your guy just gets back up anyway. But yeah, that's been a lot of fun. I've been also playing. I mentioned I played Final Fantasy 1 because I'm like, this is a great opportunity to play a lot of old RPGs, a lot of old JRPGs that I never had a chance to play.
You get to experience like the first instance of the classic jobs, your fighters and shit.
Except when I got through Final Fantasy 1, I'm like, that was fun, but it was a lot of bullshit. I'm going to do a moderner RPG. I'm playing Xenogears on the PlayStation. Holy shit, that game kicks ass. It's gorgeous. And like on the Anbernick, it looks amazing.
We get paid for saying that.
I wish, dude.
I never dabbled in the Xenogear saga. Like, I have deep RPG knowledge, but that was always because I didn't Xenogears and Xenosaga, is that the same series?
I think Xenosaga is supposed to be a Xenogears sequel, but like the guy wasn't allowed to like have the IP, so it was just like wink wink, like, hey, did you like Xenogears? There's a Xeno in it also. It's not technically related, but like, come on, Xeno.
Yeah. The other thing that like made me bounce off of it, and by bounce off of it, I mean not grabbing it at Blockbuster, is like I just never liked sci-fi in RPG settings too much. I need fucking wizards.
I don't know, dude. It kicks ass. I don't know what to tell you. You get to be a big robot.
Okay. Tell me about this mech.
Okay, so you're just fucking Gundams. There's Gundams around. Like people find Gundams in the ground. It is revealed absurdly early in the story, like maybe an hour into playing, where you're barely out of baby's first village, that the gears, the big Gundams, were invented to kill God, and God is dead now, but will return, and we need to find the big gear that will finally kill him for real. And it's like this is the cliche of like the turn that happens 20 hours in. And like I'm still learning about like when do I get a healing spell?
Okay, so that's interesting because my biggest complaint with revisiting a lot of these, especially PlayStation era RPGs, is the pacing isn't great in terms of like interesting story stuff. Mm-hmm. So this is better than that, is what I'm hearing. Because immediately they're like, God's dead, dude.
Yeah, God's dead. Human history only goes back for like 100 years, because like no one knows where the gears come from. But like the gears that we find in the ground are like 150 years old. And it's like, what the hell? And also like your friend, the doctor, is like definitely an angel, because like he talks to an emperor in the sky who's like, the time has come to finally murder God. And he's like, yes, the vessel is here. And I'm like, yeah, okay. When do I get a second party member? Yes, it's definitely... It's so good. I love it. And also, it's got a really goofy combat system where, like, instead of just hitting, with an attack, you have, like, action points. And when you decide to attack, that's when you get to spend your action points in whatever manner you choose. You have a light attack that uses 1, a medium attack that uses 2, and a heavy attack that uses 3. And, like, if you use them in a specific order, you start to learn a combo. Like, you have to do the combo a few times, and your guy will be like, oh, I get it now. And then when you do that combo again, it does more damage. But you do have to, spend all the points that it would take to input. Like, if you want to do weak, strong, that's going to take 5 points. But, Joe, if you take your turn and you don't spend all your action points, they get banked. And what can you do with those banked action points?
Some bravely default shit is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, dude, because you can use all the combos at a discounted rate, but you have to purchase them only with banked action points. But not only that, dude, you can, like, if you have 12 banked action points and you have a combo that takes 4 points, you can do it 3 times in one turn and just do like 1,000 damage. It's absurd. And then sometimes you can get a big fucking mecha, which has a different HP bar, and it also has fuel, and also has like a different gear setup where you can slot in different parts and circuits, and the fucking mecha also has combos, but the combos use fuel. And you also can turn on the booster, which ups your agility by so fucking much. You can do a lot more attacks in a lot fewer time, because it has that sort of Final Fantasy bar that has to, charge all the way up before you get another attack turn. And the downside of using the booster is that it just automatically uses extra fuel every turn. It kicks ass. And I love how when you're in the robot, you just do martial arts Like, that's your attack. Like, if you do a heavy attack, it's just like you do a big, like, roundhouse kick in a robot.
So these robots are, like, pretty kind of flexible. These aren't, like, super clunky guys.
No. They're, they're doing karate and flips.
Okay, cool.
It's a good game. Another game I've been playing that's sort of the exact opposite of Xenogears, which is, your big, epic, many hours RPG, is Kuru Kuru Kururin, a Game Boy Advance game that was only released in Japan and Europe. And it is the, I think, platonic ideal of, like, I would like to play a game for 4 minutes now. Because what it is you're a cute little bird who's in a helicopter. And what that means is that what you control is a big bar that is constantly spinning slowly. And the entire game is you got to get through a maze, but you can't touch the walls. But the walls are also closer together than your bar is wide. So you have to, like, work with the rotation and find, like, little alcoves in which you can safely rotate and get through these mazes without hitting the walls. It's so good. It's like the ultimate
like
phone game.
Flappy Bird? Yeah, I was just about to say, like, yes, this sounds like this could be single touch control for sure, right?
Yeah, but the D-pad, having a good D-pad is like that's what brings this game over the edge into, like, this is a real classic, because it's so tight, it's so fun, and you have, like, multiple levels of speed and how fast you can make your thing move. You can't control how fast it spins, but, like, how fast you move it. So you can hold A, and it moves a little bit faster. And you can hold A and B, and it'll move a little bit faster than that. Or you can go at the normal speed. And there are times when all 3 speeds are necessary. It's so fucking stupid. There's, like, it's just more maze, please. It's, you know what it kind of reminds me of is Super Monkey Ball, where it's just, like, mindless movement, where it's just, like, more mazes, please. More mazes, please. And you're just doing the same thing every single maze. It's like, I gotta get to end. I'm spinning. It's so good.
You talking about Game Boy games made me realize that growing up, a neighbor kid had a game that was like, it was a Game Boy cartridge, but it was like a pocket planner. Like, you would put, it was like, I use my Game Boy as my personal assistant. I keep my documents in this. It also had a calendar. And I'm just
soul sick child.
It wasn't like I love this thing. It was just like, this fucking game. I don't know where this came from. I hate it.
Oh God.
But I might give that a whirl. Might maybe, like, use that for meetings.
Yeah, we've left Trello behind. We're gonna leave Tascade behind. From now on, we're gonna plan Sickos episode in a emulated version of the Game Boy Color Day Planner.
Oh, but also we could use the Game Boy camera to voice and video chat.
Yeah.
And I believe the wireless functionality of the Anbernick, which I believe is, when used for proper reasons, which is to say wirelessly connecting 2 Game Boys so they can play games together, is cool. Not for connecting to the internet. That taints your device.
Yeah. Joe, you mentioned that you finally actually booted up Frog Boaster, and I sort of looked into this myself, and apparently I didn't know this. I guess I should have known this, that Game & Watch games are like fucking Tiger electronic handhelds, where it's just like little cutouts on a little fucking screen and LCD lights. Like, nothing ever touches each other.
To you?
I guess it's not, but I didn't put it together. When I finally saw Frog Boaster in motion, I was like, this is the worst. I didn't realize this was the worst shit of all time. Also, no one's boasting.
Yeah, the name is odd. I don't know what boasting means, if there's some Soviet idiom I don't understand. I looked into some other games that are on this platform, and there's some good names in addition to Frog Boaster. We got Merry Footballer. We got Fisher Tomcat. Just You Wait. And
A threat?
And this one's good. Night Thieves.
Night Thieves.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Space Bridge. I don't know if that means that there's a bridge in space, or if it's like the card game, but with like stars in the background.
The issue here is all of these sound like edutainment games that are going to teach you how to type.
That's no good. Joe, I'm looking at the document. It says you played Joe and Mac. The Mario 16 piqued your interest, or possibly your nostalgia.
It was a little bit of both, and also a lot of people, not a lot, a surprisingly bigger number of people than I expected were like, I have memories of Joe and Mac and specific opinions about it. So I revisited because it's a very strange game. It's a very like slow moving like shooter. Like imagine if Contra was like 100th of the speed and your guy threw bones.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just wacky. The hit boxes are kind of funky. It's not clear like if you can hit a guy when he's already flashing. There's a bunch of weird stuff like that. But the real reason I think Joe and Mac is worth revisiting is I think the perfect example of games that show long necks that are a bunch of balls.
I know exactly what you mean.
Rather than have like a weird neck, you just have a dinosaur head and then like a big long vector man of his skin color.
Yeah.
To his body. And there's a lot of bosses of like that.
Balls.
There's a lot of long-necked freaks.
One thing that Joe and Mac exemplifies that I'm seeing a lot when I scroll through like the SNES, NES, original Game Boy catalogs on this thing is that back in the day, they didn't give a fuck about giving games titles that were descriptive or enticing in any way.
Who are these guys?
Also, is it a co-op game? Do you have to play as two guys?
You can play with two people. It's one of those games that allows for co-op play, but I don't think it particularly lends it well because the second person I have found is just like in the way.
Yeah. So obviously you're going to name your game after that co-op experience. Joe and Matt. Two random guys. No way to know it's about cavemen. None at all. Those are now names. You're named Joe.
Yes, they didn't go with like Gruck and Gronk or something. They went with just two guys.
Yeah. God. Oh, one game that I've been playing, and it's very similar to Kuru Kuru Kururin, where it's like I have 10 minutes and I would like to fill it with some mindless action. You asked me, have I ever played Gunstar Heroes? And I said, I will soon. So I've been playing Gunstar Super Heroes for the Game Boy Advance. I actually have the European ROM that's called Gunstar Future Heroes, but it's the same game. And I gotta say, I need to look up like the Neo Geo, Genesis, Game Boy, and SNES catalog of like the ultimate shooting games where the pixel art for explosions is like there's more work put into it than like the Sistine Chapel. Like Gunstar Super Heroes is a pretty mindless game. It's not very difficult, but every gunshot and explosion has like 1,000 frames of the most lushly drawn animation. And I'm such a fucking ape. I hoot. Every single guy you shoot explodes, and it's just beautiful.
Gunstar Heroes was, in my opinion, like the reason you have a Genesis. It was that good. If you're looking for basically everything made by Treasure, is a real treat. I don't know how many games there are like Gunstar Heroes where you're running and jumping shooting guy, but anything Treasure did or has ever done is pretty solid.
Yeah, like there's so many like shoot 'em up games on this thing, I'm sure. And I don't know. I wish there was some way that I could know in advance, like what one of these has the lushest explosion animation, because that's really the only thing that I need. Like I am incapable of like appreciating shoot 'em up or run and gun game design enough to know like is this one better than another one. I don't know. All I'm looking for is like, are the pixels huge? Do they have a lot of frames? When something explodes, is it exploding for like 10 seconds? Could it pop more, maybe? Could it explode a little longer? How about flames? Could there be big flowing flames to indicate battle damage? Like, that's what I need to know.
See, that's not what I need from a run and gun. For a run and gun game, I need a state of semi-tension where I'm always like, I can't believe I'm not dead right now. And like that has to be constantly the feeling. That knife's edge where you're gaming with your lizard brain.
Yeah. God, speaking of lizard brain gaming, I've been playing some old-ass NES platformers, like the old Castlevanias. I gotta say, the rewind function... We didn't talk about this on the episode about the Anbernick. The rewind function is like the only way to play those games. And I know some people will be like, that's cheap. That's cheating. You're robbing
Well, he
yourself.
jumps awfully. Like the first Castlevania, that guy jumps like a schmuck. So
Yeah.
you should use the rewind.
I'm cheating as much as the game is cheating. We're finally on equal footing. For so long, the game laughed, knowing it had more power than me. No longer.
I haven't been using the rewind function, but I remember the first time I was introduced to it. I think the Wii had it for some Virtual Console games, and that was the first and only way I ever beat Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Like that game was probably one of the hardest things. It doesn't exist to me without the undo button.
Yeah. Like the other day, I beat Super Mario Brothers 2 for the first time ever. I've had that NES cartridge since I was a little kid. I've played it for dozens of hours. And I finally beat it because the final world is bullshit. Sorry, it's not a fun world. I was right to cheat through it.
And it was all a dream ending, which eat shit.
And it was Mario's dream, even though I played as Luigi for the entire game.
That's wish fulfillment, though, because he desires to be like the real brother.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I have noticed about this thing
is it solves all your problems.
It solves my problems, but also I had to turn the brightness way down because I was noticing that I was getting searing headaches after playing this thing for a while because I had essentially been staring into an extremely bright light bulb unblinking for 3 hours.
I haven't had that problem too much. I put it down. I will say the volume switch feels good too. Did we talk about the volume switch? It's wonderful.
We did not. Did you know that I had to look to find the setting that shows like the percentage? So it shows like how close am I to max? That's beautiful. I love that. I love seeing that.
Do you experience like a little bit of fear every time it boots up because the battery level doesn't load right away? I find it shows an empty battery and then it's like you have nothing left. Oh, by the way, 80%.
Yeah. It always shows like the fucking last battery's percentage and it's like, oh wait, did you want to know about now? 1 second, let me check. It's actually this, and it's like, I wanted that. Could you have shown me that at the beginning?
Don't worry, Dragon Warrior is here.
Cog Talk. Cog Talk. It's Cog Talk, but folks, we're finally remembering that we had a submission form where you could
submitted things.
Yeah. You could submit your own Cog stories, and we'll read them maybe in a year.
No, we'll do it. It was a little bit of like the teacher made you do a bunch of shit, and then we're like, I gotta grade this.
Yeah, it's like the teacher forgot to ask for the homework, except in this case, like homework is the teacher forgot to hand out the pizza on pizza day. Like you can see the boxes on the desk, and then lunchtime comes, and the teacher's just like, "What do you fuckers want?" And now
you would like pizza, you little shit.
We're gonna do it now. So sorry to keep you waiting. We're going to do some Cog stories right now. First up is a Cog story from a submitter known as Patrick. Patrick says the following. My job made a mysterious leaderboard of scum. I love this. They're trying to become less problematic by forcing everyone to take training modules more or less on how to not be a racist. That is a skill that is going to treat you very poorly in the future. Objectively, being a racist is going to be the correct decision for your safety and wealth. But
it seems like people who do that grift off of it pretty well, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I guess good on the job for focusing on not being racist. All right, great, says Patrick to the training modules. Everyone does that, right? Well, they decided to say, hey, let's incentivize people to actually pay attention and assign points to this, but not like grading points, just a score, which gives way to this training now becoming a ranking system for which of their employees is the most racist, sexist, etc. The points have no bearing on if you pass the module or not, just to put you in a mysterious ranking system for the company to review.
That it is peak job brain to be like, we need to keep track of a value.
Yeah.
These points. It doesn't matter what they are, though. Like, the important thing is that they're assigned to some people, and we could use that to show objectively that there is value difference here.
Yeah. No, Joe, what it is, I said as a joke before that if you want to have wealth and safety and not be hunted by maniacs who are above the law in the future,
come up with ideas like this. You're coming up with this point system just on the fly.
Yeah, you want to become racist because then you will become one of the hunters who hunts the leftists. So this way, the job is sort of like determining, like, all right, who's gonna not get culled? This guy's really racist. He's definitely not gonna get hunted. This guy's extremely not racist. We can't invest. We can't give this person a raise because they're not going to live very long.
What is happening here would be a great visual sort of storytelling opportunity of showing how people are going to faction out before the purge.
Yeah. When the event happens, what is your faction going to be? Are you going to learn fire spells or lightning spells? You know what I love? This is just another example of something I love is work, and we sort of touched on this briefly, like work creating a big ranking system and then ensuring that they're not going to use it to inform any decision making. Like I'm a fucking baby, like I'm a little lamb who's going to be like, "Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense."
I get told that so many times in life, not even in work, but just like in general, where it's like, oh yeah, this is this value doesn't matter, but like,
but it's required that you provide a value.
But like it's actually very important. Like I'm gonna freak out.
My job used to be owned by this big corporate conglomerate that owned a bunch of companies, and the owner of that company, like the big billionaire in charge of the holding company, was obsessed with this test, this like cognitive skills test, which was all about like, here is a picture of a 3D cube. What would it look like if you rotated it 90 degrees? And then you would pick the correct picture. It was 100% rotating cube based test.
Can't do just 90. I have to keep rotating it in my mind.
This was a requirement that every single employee took this test, and they're like, by the way, we will not use this for any hiring or pay increase purposes. And I'm like, yeah, fucking right. The people who can rotate the cubes get more money. I guarantee it.
Just think how stupid that statement is. It's like, does this test produce like graphs representing all this data? Okay, so they just won't use that. Like they will see these beautiful graphs about all of their Funko Pops, and they will just say, no, thank you, I will not look.
They'll say, this Joe fellow is incredibly good at rotating the cube. I'm looking at his cube score. It is an outlier in its highness. His ability to rotate the cube. He's actually still rotating it now, sir. Well, nothing to do about that. Just interesting, I guess.
Have you ever had the experience of working at a place where there's like a big survey and then like the results are never discussed?
Yes.
That's the best. Like you need to go through the motions of being heard, but not like actually, but like you have to like pantomime it.
Yeah, I think we did that one time. The opposite occurred. Was my work put out a survey about like, what do you think about returning to the office? And it had that sort of bias built into the wording of the questions that seemed to indicate like you want to come back, right? Like you just need like a
don't
few,
you miss collabing?
Yeah, like I'm sure that you just like there's one or two safety things that you want that if they were there you would love to come back, right? Like definitely, like it was so clear that it was like slow rolling, like. So we're coming back, right? And then at the next all hands meeting, the first thing they said was like very sheepishly and quickly to just get it out of the way. It was like, so the results of the survey said that 89% of you do not want to come back to the office. So I guess we're staying remote. And then they moved on to another thing. And I was like, 89.
Credit where credit's due, where they set it fast like medicine side effects. I have been in places where they're just like, yeah, we're looking into that. And obviously they have. They're just deflecting for you to forget. And guess what? You will. They can always run out the clock.
Trump's whole thing, when he said that he was looking very strongly at something, what he was really saying is, I would like for that to no longer be something we talk about, and it worked every time.
It just, the thing is, people didn't think it worked because in that instance, it didn't stop. Like, in that moment. But the truth is, like, the long game, everything goes away.
Yeah, and people will be like, it's not working because we're laughing at him for how stupid this is. We're laughing. It's like, yeah, well, in a week you're going to be laughing about something else, and that thing that you laughed about now, you'll have forgotten it just like you wanted. Anyway, let's do another Cog story, another user submitted Cog story. This one's from Cameron, and Cameron writes, "Dear Sickos, I'm currently at my first post-college job." Our condolences.
Oh, I'm sorry.
At a company that makes custom artwork for patches and keychains and such. I'm about a year in, and I've collected a small trove of baffling stories from this office, which has notably been open throughout the pandemic, barring about a month before I started working there. The most notable of these stories is one that is still ongoing: the development of my unwarranted reputation as the guy who draws horny anime shit. Oh no.
Yeah. Yes.
That's a reputation, I'm going to say it, that you don't want.
Every day I wake up trying to avoid this. That's why I never learned to draw.
Yeah. We're actually very wise for not cultivating any real skills. Cameron continues. Although, what a fun thing if it just ended there. The way my job works is that there's a big list of projects. Each artist blindly clicks on the next one on the list and translates whatever we're given into a vector file. Whatever project you work on is pretty much completely random. But through some twist of fate, anytime a project comes up that has anything to do with A, anime, B, horny shit, or C, horny anime shit, it always ends up in my hands. They know, dude, it's not random. Someone, juiced the algorithm.
Yeah, we are always very clear about this. The algorithm should never be trusted in all context. Always assume there is one. We usually mean, Google and the content feed, but, obviously in this situation, there's nefarious code at work here.
Yeah. To be clear, I don't have a problem with any of this stuff, given the right context or environment. Well, nobody's perfect. The open office, staffed by people decades my senior, all of whom can see my monitor while I work, is not the right environment. It calls to mind the exact feeling of being a teenager and sitting through a sex scene in a movie that you're watching with your parents, but it's 8 hours long and you're the director. This is really well written. Thank you, Cameron. This is very funny.
This is really good. I feel like you have to constantly just turn around and be like, it's my job. This is for work.
So a duty that I used to have at my work and no longer do is I used to be on an account for a major video game publisher that will remain nameless. And what they did was they wanted to enforce their copyright, which translated into I would have to find bootleg merchandise of their goods and show them to the client, and they would be like, please submit takedowns on the marketplace. So I'd be like, this is an Amazon listing for a t-shirt with video game character here drinking a beer and smoking a bong, and they'd be like, please take that down. And I would write to Amazon.
Smoking a bong.
I'd write to Amazon on their little portal and be like, hey, hello, this is using this copyright, here's the copyright number. And sometimes they take it down, sometimes they just didn't. Sometimes they're like, it's funny that he's smoking a bong. And we love it. Yeah. But they eventually added more IPs that they owned, one of which was for a game series that simulates what it's like to be a manager for a number of cute girl entertainers. Now, Joe, what kind of material do you think would be the bootlegged products for a video game where there is a large amount of anime cute girls who all call you their master?
Mostly shit that gets you fired. This is a catch-22.
The first day, I just emailed all my managers and was like, hello, Here is this game they want me to look for products for. Here is the description from Wikipedia for what this series is. As you can imagine, a lot of this shit is porno. Like, just so you know. They were like, got it. I hated doing that, and I don't anymore. Anyway, enough of that. Let's go back to Cameron's story. Okay. The worst part about this is that once your artwork sells, it goes up on an internal web page that everybody in the company frequently looks at. Why?
So I'm imagining like literally a conveyor belt, and like a big titty anime girl comes like down the conveyor belt, and there's a tag on it said "Made lovingly by Cameron," and everyone points at it and hoots.
There's a big
and then Cameron asks like, "Can I stop?" And they're like, "No."
No, you love this, you freak. You love it. The thing that I can't believe is that there's an internal company webpage that anyone pays attention to.
Well, obviously, if it's her making a coworker feel weird, yeah, for sure. It's like, oh, look, there's weaknesses on this webpage.
Oh my, it's the fucking wiki for a JRPG. It's like, oh my god, Cameron's weak to fire. Everyone use fire spells. Hee. Look at that bitch. Okay. This means that everyone, oh no, including the CEO of our company, who I see daily, has seen my vector drawing of Misato from Evangelion in a skimpy bikini. And most of them have gone out of their way to tell me they've seen it. Oh, no.
Like, shame on you, or like, I saw. I'm asking, have they ever implied they've fucking noodled their hog about it?
Has anyone been like, hey, Cameron, just so you know, I've charged my crystal, if you know what I mean, to your incredible work. Keep it up. I can't wait to see what you come up with next.
Yeah,
and neither can my dick.
Yes. Yeah, that probably happened.
Oh, God. Joe, a few hours before writing this tale, which I imagine must mean, like, in April of 2021, I opened up a new project, and the first thing I'm doing tomorrow is publicly drawing someone's nude, bubble-butted persona. If anyone asks me to explain what I'm doing, I will quit on the spot.
You have to be very clear that like if the butt isn't this like luscious, we don't get paid. These are technical requirements.
We're not talking about a 2-layer cake or a 3-layer cake. It's gotta be full wedding cake.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ. And Cameron closes out the story by saying, thanks for making this show and fuck jobs. You're welcome and you're correct.
Good luck. I'm sorry that you have to like really like manipulate anime stuff for your job.
Yeah. God damn. Anime should be something that you choose to engage with, and the option is present at all times to bail completely and denounce it totally. And you don't have that, and that's not fair.
Yeah, I said this a while ago, but like all gaming and all anime should be done under a tarp. Like it should be shameful.
Cat. We're doing our famous segment Cat Talk again. We wanted to do another Cat Talk, but we encountered a conundrum, which is we have no new cat stories, or cats are acting the same. So we decided to do something that we've meant to do for something like 80 episodes, which is get one of our previous guests back on just for a little for like a single segment, not even a whole episode, just have him back on for one little thing. Wouldn't that be fun? So we decided,
you know, in Marvel vs. Capcom, when you do an assist and like Cyclops comes out and he just does one beam,
that's this.
Yeah,
it's like it's an accoutrement of ass whooping. Yeah,
exactly. Well, as you can hear, we have Kevin Johnson from episode 29. Kevin Johnson goes guesto mode on to do Cat Talk, and the reason why is, Kevin, you got a cat who is one of like a singular cat of unmatched quality.
This is a shiny cat in Pokemon terms.
Damn. Yeah, I would actually say that Aloe is shiny because she's like a gray that I've never seen on a cat. There's like that like that normal tabby gray that you've seen 1,000 times, and it looks like a fucking like a washcloth or some shit. But she's got some shine to her.
Yeah, she got the silver skin that like you have to pay like V-Bucks to get.
So paint the picture of this cat. Like, obviously there's a lot of cats, but like there's some fun modifiers on Aloe that we should address.
I don't know if it's a fun modifier. But yeah, I guess so. She's a foster cat, first of all. So I don't technically have her, quote, quote. But yeah, her name is Aloe because she was burned, which is like, that's kind of a fucked up pun when you think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she was burned. So Tom and his wife actually drove me to go pick her up. I was emailing with the foster organization. They were like, "Oh yeah, she's healed," and I was like, "All right, cool," because I mentioned she was burned. And then I get there and they're like, "Here's some ointment."
So fucked.
And I'm like, "Motherfucker, that's a ruse. I got rused and bruised, man."
Yeah, so we were me and my wife were driving because we wanted to give our buddy Kevin a hand, and also the real reason was I want to see the cat. And whenever a cat is entering a new space, they're going to be really freaked out and sort of not be comfortable for a while. And especially since this cat had been burned, and we didn't get the details, but apparently like it was on purpose by like a guy.
Yeah, this was abuse. This was not an accident.
Yeah, we were like, chances are we're not going to see this cat for a long time. This cat's going to be very skittish and not affectionate, and it's not the cat's fault, but we're just going to have to deal with that. Then we got her home, and what did we discover?
She just don't give a fuck. She's just like, I'm gonna rub up on everyone. Yeah, I mean, I guess she's pretty great in that.
The best temperament I've ever seen.
A cat who loves chilling and vibing, and like I've never met a cat who so frequently flops completely on her back, exposes her tummy, and it's not a trap. It's just like, I'd love to get my tummy rubbed. Will you do it? And it's like, yeah, idiot.
Yeah, so what's also like very dumb about that, and I do not know why Aloe does it, is so that burn is like exactly on her back, like right near the spine, and she just loves to like flop and just roll over on like carpet and fucking just like kitty litter. And I'm like, this has to be painful. What are you doing?
You gotta get a layer of protective bacteria.
Okay, so Kevin, I can't believe that the foster organization told you like, oh yeah, the wound's healed. Because describe the wound, like paint us a picture. If someone hasn't seen Aloe's back, describe the wound.
I don't know how to, other than it's just
say oozing. It is.
That's the word. That's the word, because you know it's the same thing. It's just fucking like, here's this just like pink mound of flesh that is exposed, and you're like, this is supposed to be under skin. Like, yeah. It's like if you were just seeing skeleton cats walking around, you're like, they should have something on that. That's not right. It don't make any sense.
You have a chair that she took to, and it was her chair. You know how cats do. And I came over to see Aloe, and that cushion on that chair was just disgustingly caked with cat wound ooze.
Yeah, she'll do that because I mean, like, she just loves rolling around, and so it's just like, here's open wounds just for everything. Yeah, that's great.
Oh, but she's so cute. She loves getting her wound padded because she can't scratch it. It's sure itchy.
Yeah. So during the times when I was able to, like, you know, make sure she's not messing with it enough, she'll get scars. She'll get scabs, rather. And you get the lovely thing of that sometimes falling off, and I would call that cat jerky.
Oh my God. Holy shit. Jeez.
That's the most disgusting thing I ever heard in my life.
It is terrible.
That's right.
But she's so, like, I can't get over, like, the first day that she came and she was like, I'm sweet. Meow, pet me, and she will get petted on the chin, on the tummy. She's purring. And like you keep saying, and I'm sure this is true. Like, she's afraid of the sounds of doors opening and shoes on, walking on the floor. And I'm sure that's true. But every time I come to visit you to see the cat,
both of those things happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the time it takes for her to be right up in my face, snuggling, purring, getting her chin rubbed is like 10 seconds.
Yeah, when I met her, she was not surprised by those noises because she was oozing on the chair.
Yes. The chair is also a safe space. But I think if she's like not there, then she'll like run under my couch. And I'm like, this is a terrible fucking hiding space because I can see you. Like, what are you doing?
Also, you're definitely rubbing wound ooze all on the underside of the couch.
The other thing we failed to mention is that like once we brought her home, I was like, oh, I don't have all the cat stuff. So we went to a cat store, right? Or a pet store, but it's a cat store for me. And then we came back and we're like, all the doors were closed, but we cannot find her. And that was just fucking, oh, jeez. I was like, this is my first foster cat. And like within a half hour, I've lost her.
I got some bad news, cat people. I'm just wanted to update you.
So you wanted me to not lose the cat? Was that wrong to lose the cat? It's my first time. I'm not sure whether or not losing the cat is a bad thing. So yeah, we looked, because Kevin's apartment is not huge. It's like 4 rooms. And we looked through all of them multiple times. And we were at the point where it's like, well, Aloe's gone. And then we heard a meek little meow from your office, and she apparently had weaseled her way into an empty cardboard box that was like underneath a bunch of things and behind a bunch of luggage, like the most inaccessible thing that you could ever imagine. And she had weaseled her way in such a way that she was able to get in but not get out. Man, that was a harrowing experience because she's so she's so fucking cute.
Yeah, and this was like 10 or 20 minutes later. So like we were just like searching, like, okay, we're gonna swap places with each other and search the things that everyone else searched just to make sure. Because it's like, unless she's like a goddamn rat, it can go underneath like a door. Like,
can cats impossible. Clip through floors?
Well, they are liquid, so I wouldn't be super surprised. But
it was especially surprising that she was able to elude us so thoroughly, considering the other thing about Aloe that we noticed when she got home that was not told by the foster agency, which is that she walks like Kiryu from Yakuza after he's had too many Suntories.
She's a little drunk. And when I saw her, I was like, oh, is this from the burn? And you were like, no, this is just a different thing.
Yeah, she's just a wobbly girl.
Just describe what it is like to watch Aloe try to walk a straight line and or jump onto a surface.
She's actually pretty decent about jumping on surfaces, except when she was in pajamas. That part was like, oh, that's kind of sad. But yeah, it's definitely like, you know, you're like a police officer and you're like, before I give him the breathalyzer, I'm just gonna like, you know, have him walk in a straight line real quick. Is that sort of shit where she's just like, ooh.
I always am nervous when she's jumping down from big places, like jumping down from the couch, because it always looks when she lands like she's just gonna like eat shit and like tip forward and smash her face on the ground.
Not execute the tactical role for sure.
She's also really cute when she got a wand toy that you got her that she loves. Yes. And she throws herself into the play with the recklessness of a much more graceful cat.
Yes, and a much less injured cat. She will. Oh my god. So I got her a wand toy, and this was like, I introduced her to video games, and she was just like, I need to play with this every second of the day. And so I'd probably done this like 10, 20 minutes, honestly, like the first time. And I was like, she's so into this. I'm just like, but I got to go to my computer. And so I just set it down on the kitchen counter because like I introduced the game to her in the kitchen. And then I come back later and I just see the toy in the middle of the floor. And I'm like, she's never been on my kitchen counters until this toy. So like, I don't know. She was just really, really into it.
Yeah, also, like, her climbing is impressive. So like, she was motivated.
Yeah, because like when she jumps up onto the couch, At least the times I've seen it. If she's more impressive than I've seen, then good for her. When she jumps up onto the couch, she like wiggles and jumps, and she gets like most of the way and has to sort of like hook in and like hoist herself the rest of the way up. The kitchen counter is like twice that height.
Yes. I think also maybe you're seeing that with the couch just because she loves to fuck up my couch.
That's true. That is a cat's thing. That they do love doing.
Like,
that.
why jump high enough if you can claw on the way up?
Yeah, let me just use all of the claws and just fucking just dig in there, yeah.
So my sort of like wiggly wand toy technique that I use with Lucy is I always like to, have it sort of snap like and move back and forth right like above her, and sort of shoot it above her head because I want her to jump and jump as high as possible because I think that's cute. And then if she grabs it while she's jumping, I tell her she did a good job. I did that with Aloe, and she, to her credit, good kitty, did a college try and jumped. And you know how they say that cats never land on their back? Not so for her. Clunk! Like, when cats fucking land, they usually don't make sound. They use their little pads on their feet and their shock absorbers and their little legs, and they don't make any sound. When Aloe lands, it's like...
It's a percussive experience if you're
also,
just playing with her.
Wet if she lands on the the wound side.
Oh, she's so cute. She also, for the longest time, she had to wear a cone to keep from licking her wound. And, one thing, I've never met a cat so fucking chill about getting a cone on. And this is parcel of her being chill about everything. Like, she has no complaints whatsoever about like hanging out with people and chilling, no matter what you do.
Just a chill cat, man. So yeah, she's actually really good with eating both wet and dry food. But I don't know if other people experience this, but like with a cone, this is like a Velcro cone, right? And so she would just like, as a cat does, just put her head into food. But like she would just come up with just like Friskies in the cone. And then she's just like, oh, I wanna be cool and just like put my head in your face. And you're just like, no. It smells like beef ass.
It's like, simply take the cone off and clean it. It's like, well, you got problems there. One, you take the cone off. She's like, thank you. Time to lick my wound. It's like, no.
Oh my God.
And then also, I imagine she's like Lucy in that she doesn't eat all of her wet food in one sitting. So you clean out the cone, put it back on. She's like, thank you. Anyway, time for round 2. Clomp. And she gets a new slice of nasty meat stuck between the panels.
But she's not wearing a cone now, right?
Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, the vet sent her home one of these times. So the first couple times, this vet sent her home, and she was just like open wound, and it was like, this doesn't seem good.
Yeah, they said this cat is fine. Nothing happened.
Yeah, there's like whatever.
It was sort of telling that every single person who saw Aloe was like, so are you gonna like put a bandage on that? And you were just like, I don't know. And especially because now, if you haven't been to a vet in the pandemic, you don't get to talk to the vet anymore. You do a dead drop, like you're like fucking trading info about the Soviets. Like you drop the cat off in the lobby and then you leave, and then someone else picks the cat up.
Yeah, one of you's deep throat and the other. I don't know which side's which.
Yeah, but like she would come back like no bandage, and it's like, how come? Like, what was the rationale here?
It's like, yeah, I know like humans and pets are different, but like I would have a bandage in this situation.
Yeah. Or at least like an explanation of why there isn't one, because that's like my first question, right? It's just like I thought there'd be something on it.
Yeah. So yeah, one of the times finally the vet was like, "Here's some pajamas." So I had a volunteer driver to and from the vet, and so she just came, in her carrier, and I'm just like, oh, maybe she's wrapped in a blanket. But then I was like, nope, she's in pajamas.
Kitty jammies.
But she was like too small for them. And so that like kind of made her sad because she's like, I can't move. What the fuck am I doing here? I'm just going to like chill on the ground and flop, which is not terribly different from the norm. But she couldn't like jump on the couch and, play. And so because of that, I was like, oh, maybe I'll try safety pins. And I got some from Tom's residence. And I realized that that wasn't enough because like all the fabric on her back legs was just making her like she could move more, but she still wasn't like quite her old self. And also
she has a hard enough time moving, and she's having she's over encumbered, as JRPG would say.
Yes. And in addition to that, she because the fabric would like kind of droop down a bit, it was like covered in pee at the bottom. At the end.
No.
Oh, okay. So it was a big saggy diaper.
Yeah, I was like, more and more. I mean, but it did, you know, like the what is it? Like the Pioneers, you know how they have those like big red long johns and it's got like the flap for the ass. She just had a cutout. So
oh god.
So, you know, that's fine.
I will say though, as much as that garment wasn't quite fulfilling her needs, it was the cutest thing in the world to see, especially for the first time. If it's the first time seeing a cat in jammies, because Aloe's so fucking cute. I love Aloe. We visited Aloe a bunch of times, and she's always had her cone on. And then one day she doesn't have her cone on, and she's wearing kitty jammies. She looks so cozy, and like. You think you put clothes on a cat, they're gonna like hate it and like struggle and try to get them off and look uncomfortable. Aloe, I mean, like she obviously didn't like a littler range of motion, but she was like so chill. She's like, yeah, these are my jammies. They got pictures of cartoon cats on them, in addition to me, who looks like a cartoon cat. Fuck, he was so cute.
Yeah, but that didn't quite work, and I saw on the internet that there's some alternatives you could do. So like between like a newborn to like 6 months, you can get clothes that would be for a human, and then just put them on your cat. And that's what I did. I went to a thrift store, got a dress that was like $2 and one that was like $4, which is like, oh, this feels like a steal. And as I was going through them, I was like trying to find something that was like, you know, this is kind of cute for a cat, but I didn't want it too cute because then I feel like I was stealing from humans.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got the dresses. One's like green with these like little kind of ruffles. It's like a tiered dress. I don't know how to describe it. And then the other one is like another light green with like white polka dots, and it's got a little ladybug on it.
This is very wholesome. God. This is very special.
God. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, like if you ever want to feel like you're a parent to a goddamn cat, then get them clothes.
But for medical reasons, like not for like imposing our perverse laws on them.
I will say though that like the pictures of Aloe looking like a goddamn angel in her dresses are some of the cutest images that have ever or will ever be on this earth. And also, you texted me one. You did a deep cut to when one of my nieces was like 3 or so, the age where kids know about jokes, but they don't know that like being funny is something they can or cannot be. It's just like a joke is a joke, and all jokes are the same. So I will tell a joke, and no matter what, it's a joke, so it's good. She told the following joke, or rather, it's a riddle, and it is: what do you call a cat that wears clothes? Joe, do you have a guess?
I don't know.
Like, yeah, the answer is a clothes cat.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, your niece is right.
Yeah. So Kevin asked me, what do you call a cat that wears clothes? I jubilantly responded, a clothes cat, and then got a picture of Aloe in a little dress, and I about expired from joy.
Yeah, my cat sucks compared to what I'm hearing. Both of them. Like right now, she's slapping at like the storage thing I hang in the back of my office door. This sucks. She wants my USB cables. She would never put up with clothes and being that perfect.
Yeah, whenever I come home from Kevin's house, I tell Lucy, "Hey Lucy, we just came from seeing a better cat." She doesn't know what I'm saying. If she does, she's being very mature about it, because I think the Lucy I know would, if she heard and comprehended that, would be like, eat shit, bitch, and try to bite me.
Also, unlike Lucy, Aloe does not sniff shoes, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah, she's not a foot pervert. Aloe's so cute. She's like the sweetest cat.
So how long do you foster her for? What's the timeline? Because like obviously the vet said this cat hasn't been burned, and then they handed her to you, so I don't know.
Yeah, they're probably like, wait,
I feel
did we
your
have
whole
a cat?
timeline seems fake.
Yeah, I presume it's whenever she's healed. I guess she can go on the adoption market. But it seems, I mean, like, everyone I know is like, this is the best cat. So, like, I feel like I'm going to be peer pressured into having Aloe forever.
Yeah,
You're correct.
dude.
You
yeah,
idiot.
dude.
Like,
Are you dense?
I didn't want to, like, do this on the podcast, but you brought it up. So, yeah, like, don't fuck this up.
Yeah, we were going to leave the door respectfully alone, but you have opened it a crack, so now I will shoot it with a bazooka. You got to fucking keep it. If I'm imagining a world where I don't get to see Aloe and I don't want to live in it.
She already wears pajamas.
She's a clothes cat, dude. She wears
She
little
already
cute
wears
dresses.
pajamas.
I love Lucy. She's so affectionate, but like 90% of the time, 90% of the fucking elapsed time of her life, she's like, I don't want to get touched. It's only in the 10% that she's like, all right, time to pet me, time to cuddle, okay. And then as soon as it's over, she's like, do not fucking approach me. I am on my own now. Aloe is like at all times, be like, you know what I would love is to get my fucking tummy rubbed. I'm like, yes. More than anything, I'll rub the tummy.
So I tend to work at my kitchen table. And as I mentioned, she had some limited mobility in the pajamas. And so, like, when she would want to jump up to things, you know, like to be next to me, we got into the system where instead of just watching her just, like, fumble, like, she... that gross chair that she would try to get up to, she couldn't jump really. So she just would, like, pull the cushion out and it would, like, fall on her and just create this whole fucking mess. And I was just like, oh God, we can't have this. So we got into the system of her just being like, oh, I want to jump to this place. And so she would just sit in front of it and I would just pick her up and put her on it.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, this is real cat dad territory.
How could you, like, how could not keeping this cat ever be a fucking option? How is it ever a question? It's you're like, hey, guess what? Pikachu's real. There's only one. And it's in my apartment, but you know I gotta get Pikachu healthy for his forever home.
I understand the sort of noble intention of like I must keep my house free of any permanent pets, so that I may be an asset to foster other pets in the future and spread my fostering talents to all types of pets.
You got a rare drop first
Yeah.
time though, like gotcha shit. You got whatever the highest amount of stars is. Congrats.
Yeah, you got the fucking you got Saber in beachwear on your first pull.
Yeah. Saber parentheses MILF mode. The strongest card in the game or whatever.
This is fate bullshit I'm hearing. Is that what it is?
Yeah. I don't think MILF mode is actually in the game. To be clear.
Yeah, Mommy Milker's costume. Yeah, I don't think that's in there.
That's a phrase that came up and doesn't need to be around.
It's so gross.
I that's the biggest change. If I could go back in time and talk to myself and be like, people are going to say "mommy milkers" a lot more.
It's like when you go back in time to kill baby Hitler, I'd be like, yeah, sure, and then I would go back in time. But what I'd really do is just like wait 50 years and then like go up to the person who invented mommy milkers and shoot them.
Or you can tell Mommy Milkers to Hitler, have him rise to power, and then kill him, and then you get like this super, like you're super goated because nobody wants to be associated with Hitler except all the people that
you've tainted the term. That's a good point.
Yeah. He's gonna be like, what's the great symbol for my Nazi party? Mommy Milkers, and then like I assassinate Hitler like before he rises to like to Holocaust power. And so Mommy Milkers is tainted, but also World War II didn't happen, and the Holocaust didn't happen.
And the AP test says Mommy Milkers like all the time.
Yeah. To pass AP history, it's like, what's the one thing you never fucking say? And it's like Mommy Milkers. And then I've beaten the game.
Then it's all the History Channel grandpas looking at Mommy Milkers. Yeah.
And if someone says Mommy Milkers nowadays, you're immediately like, well, that's someone who shouldn't be in polite society. That's a fucking racist.
Yeah, you lose social credit for saying it, is what I think.
Yeah. I think we got off topic somehow. Kevin, thank you for coming on Cat Talk. to talk about Aloe the cat with us. She's so cute. We're gonna post pictures of her.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. That's just like, why would you not do that for your social media?
Yeah, we're gonna do that for sure. Hell yeah. Anyway, that's all the time we got for Anime Sickos this week. Thank you all for tuning in. I've been Tom, an Anime Sicko.
I've been Joe, an Anime Sicko.
I've been Canada. I fucked that up. God damn it.
I've been Canada.
I tripped over my own lips. It was weird.
I thought you said I am cat.
I wish, dude. Okay, do it again.
I am Kevin, an Anime Sicko.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
See you.
Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Twitter at TomHarrison19. Joe is also a sicko. You can follow him on Twitter at ShariaUncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Twitter at Anime Sickos, or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.